Today I would like to speak about the contents of the texts of original Buddhism. The Agama Sutra presents the doctrine of the foregoing and four fruits. These words signify the four kinds of aspiration and the four kinds of results they produce. The four fruits represent the four stages, and the first level is that of initiates into the stream of truth, following that of initiates into the stream of truth. The order of the levels is as follows: those going into the stream of truth, those who have entered the stream of truth, those going to the single return, those who have attained the single return, going to non-returning, not returning again, going to the step of the Arhat, reaching the step of the Arhat. The last of the four steps, the Arhat steps, is followed by many others. I will list them in order. After attaining the Arhat stage, there is the process of Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is followed by the process of Kundalini Yoga. Then there is the process of Jnana Yoga. Then there is the stage where the practitioner comes to the Mahayana Buddha state, Mahayana Yoga. Then there is the attainment of Astral Yoga, the attainment of Causal Yoga, and finally Mahayana. This is all that the teachings on the foregoings and four fruits say about the levels of spiritual practice, beginning with the step of going to entrance into the stream of truth. Above Mahayana there are no stages. In other words, the level of the seekers of entering the stream of truth is the path to all the other levels. What does it mean to go to the stream of truth? It means to surrender oneself to a holy stream for the purpose of going to the next step. By holy stream is meant the Buddha, the law, that is, the truth, and people who practice the truth. The practitioners of the law are monks. In general it is called Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. In other words, going to enter the stream of truth means gaining commitment to the reaches, the law preached by the reaches, and the people practicing the law. It is the very first step. The teaching on the foregoing ones and the four fruits, the way to nirvana. Now I will explain to you in simple words about each step, beginning with those going to the stream of truth and ending with those who have reached the Arhat stage. As I mentioned earlier, to enter the stream of truth means to become committed to the Buddha, to the truth, law, preached by the Buddha, and to people practicing the teachings of the Buddha. The stage at which one becomes fully committed to them is called those who have entered the stream of truth. What is the stage at which complete devotion is attained? Being there does not mean that one thinks all day long about the Guru, the law, or the people assembled around them. It is the point at which one can say, I have become committed to the truth, to the teaching of the Buddha. Let me say it again. The fact that you are on the stage of those who have entered the stream of truth means that you have been able to surrender yourself to the holy stream. Do you understand? One who has entered the stream of truth, of course, will listen to many sermons of the law. Because of this merit, he will once again descend into this world of phenomena, the six worlds of the world of passion, and again engage in spiritual practice. Such is he who goes to the one-time return. When the practice of the one-time returnees leads to the result, that is, to the attainment of the step of the one-time returnee, one passes to the level of the non-returnee. One who goes to non-return is one who is no longer reborn in this world of phenomena. He is no longer reborn in the world of apparitions, but in the astral world, which is made of a subtle substance. By simply practicing there he will be able to enter nirvana. And when the practice of going to non-return, that is, when the level of non-return is reached, then one becomes an Arhat, and that means one has the right to enter nirvana, to attain the goal for which man was born. Sakyamuni Buddha really only preached the teaching up to this point. However, I have to say that this is only a precursor. Reaching the Arhat stage is only the beginning of the path leading to becoming a Mahayana Buddha. Then comes the turn of Raja Yoga. There is the practice of the 6 limits. It begins with sacrifice, followed by keeping the precepts, strengthening the will, persevering effort, meditation and wisdom. The attainment of Raja Yoga is the first result we achieve by going through all the stages of spiritual practice up to strengthening the will. If we continue to practice after this achievement, we can someday reach perfection in Raja Yoga. So, Raja Yoga is based on willpower, on tremendous willpower. In other words, you cannot do Raja Yoga without great willpower. And what is needed for the next one, Kundalini Yoga? What else is needed besides enormous willpower acquired in the process of attaining perfection in Raja Yoga? You need energy, life energy, or rising energy. When this rising energy bursts completely through the top of the head, it merges with the mind. In other words, the rising energy creates vibrations in the brain that cause it to function in a particular way. And at the moment of the fusion of energy and mind, a person becomes a superhuman. The brain of such a Superman is unusually pure. If he wants, he can even become a great scientist. After one comes to attainment and perfection in Kundalini Yoga, one moves on to the process of Jnana Yoga. In the practice of Jnana Yoga, he, by eliminating superficial consciousness, approaches his subconscious mind. Eventually he becomes capable of reflecting on cause and effect from the subconscious level. And since the analysis is conducted not with the help of the surface consciousness, which is under the strong influence of lies and insincerity, but with the help of the subconscious, the genuine consciousness of the person, the identified causes and effects will also turn out to be genuine. And by understanding the real situation, we can eliminate the cause of suffering, free ourselves from suffering. This is what Jnana Yoga is all about. The basis of Jnana Yoga is the fusion of Kundalini energy and the mind. After one attains attainment and perfection in Jnana Yoga, Mahayana Yoga, based on the four great unmeasurable states of the soul, comes next. In Jnana Yoga, the individuality of the individual plays a central role. For example, when analyzing, he looks at himself as the point of reference. But in the next yoga, Mahayana Yoga, something quite different comes into play. The principle becomes the universal scale, transcending the individuality itself. One gradually grasps the true meaning of salvation. In Mahayana Yoga, one engages in the practice of completely eliminating the distinction between self and others. In terms of the chakras, this is the level of the Anahata chakra. The Anahata chakra increases enormously in size. Here, as on the previous stages, having arrived at attainment, one continues, of course, to strive for perfection. And once he has attained perfection, he has nothing more to do in this life. In other words, he has achieved the goal for which he was born as a human being. Then comes the stage of astral yoga. On this stage, man in the astral world freely creates and destroys all that he has created. He repeats this process over and over again. The source of creation here is his own desires and mistakes. By repeatedly repeating the process in which man in the astral world gives them form and destroys them, he brings order there, and thus his worldly desires disappear. This is what astral yoga is all about. What follows the attainment of perfection in this yoga? Causal yoga. It can also be called yoga of light. In astral yoga you had an astral body, but in the causal world there is no body. There is only your consciousness. This consciousness is the essence body. The essence body is immersed in the light of the causal world. This light represents data. It is information about everything, such as when you will die, or what will happen in the future. Therefore, in another way, this light can also be called a databank. The essence body is in this light that transforms the data that we have. For example, you remove data that hinders spiritual practice and introduce data that is favorable to it. This is how one can gradually purify one's causal world. What happens when the process of purification is complete and perfection in causal yoga has been achieved? A person becomes empty. But this is not non-existence. Non-existence means the total absence of anything. In this case, however, only the vessel of information remains. Imagine, please, a vessel filled with pure water. The information is empty, and you are unaffected. This is Mahayana. Mahayana is perfection in causal yoga. When the need arises, information is freely created. Through this information it is possible, moreover, to descend again into the world of apparitions. There are people who say, "I want to attain liberation," yet they cannot even keep the commandments. But that is impossible. Judge for yourself. How is he going to be able to create a basis for strengthening his will if he's not able to keep the commandments? How can he make an effort? To such people who are not able to follow even such basic principles, I say, don't even think of attaining liberation in this life. You can only count on the next life. But in this life you must never stray from the holy stream. Also, everything is karma. So when your good karma bears fruit, you can observe the precepts. After that, go to the process of cultivating an unshakable will, and then, persevering effort. And then in your spiritual practice you can rise from the level of Raja Yoga to Kundalini Yoga. As I said before, the process and the sequence of the stages of spiritual practice are quite definite. The process that begins with the step of going to the stream of truth, and ends with Mahayana, is well defined. So let us persevere in our practice, to keep the earth a favorable environment for practicing spirituality. If the earth does not change, it will perish. Everything depends on us. Okay? So that more people can encounter this knowledge, please like it and add to your subscriptions.